This comic is rated R for nudity and violence, just like I like it.
Now available in paperback and Kindle Unlimited. Isis, All That Glitters. The goddess next door takes on a bikini-clad bank robber in this action-packed, all-new Isis series adventure. Get Isis, All That Glitters in paperback and Kindle Unlimited today.
Before I get into this review of Danger Jane from Bad Bug Midnight, I wanted to give everybody an update on the Skyclad review. Now, I had recently spent $38 on a graphic novel called Skyclad. Unfortunately, YouTube's AI was going out and age restricting this video, so I can't show the review of Skyclad like I originally planned. However, I have several other comics that I do want to review, and I'm hoping to share those comics with you soon. Now, I also want to give everybody an update on the SJS Direct 2026 catalog, and work is going along very smoothly on the SJS Direct 2026 catalog. I'm doing the page layouts right now for John Haynes' An Offer He Can't Refuse, Isis Runway of Doom, and Esteem a New Woman, and I've got the concept sketches from Bill Walko for Isis Runway of Doom and Esteem a New Woman, and I've talked to the artist about doing the John Haynes cover. So those books hopefully will be out for the spring and summer reading season, but until then, I'm hoping to do some more comic review videos of fun comics like Bad Bug Midnight's Danger Jane. Now, when I saw this comic on Kickstarter, it really intrigued me, and as I read the premise for this comic, I became even more intrigued because I'm a big fan of those old spy shows from the 1960s and those spy movies like Like Flint, the James Bond movies, and even shows like Amos Burke's Secret Agent, which was actually season 2 of Burke's Law, and other 60s spy shows like The Avengers. And this book, Danger Jane, really reminded me of one of my favorite shows, the UK Avengers, which featured John Steed and Emma Peel. And as I was looking at the premise for Danger Jane, I was really looking forward to this comic, and looking forward to it because the heroine who's the lead, Jane, her character that she plays on TV, Danger Jane, reminds me a lot of Emma Peel from The Avengers. And really, when I was reading this comic, while the character is supposedly American, every time I was reading this character, I basically was reading her with a British accent. And this first issue of Danger Jane really does a great job of setting up the premise for this character, who is a faded TV star of a legendary show, Danger Jane, Jane Lawson. Now, Jane Lawson is the star of a show called Danger Jane, a spy-type show like they used to show in the 60s and the 70s, and she's basically lamenting the end of her career. And this story, which was written by Alan Dunford and Mike Tenner, and illustrated by Anuka JPEG, and colored by Carlos Moreno, and lettered by Mattia Zanetti, is a really solid first issue that does a great job of answering the 3 critical questions a writer has to answer, which is: who is the main character, what do they want, and most importantly, why should we care? And in the first page, we get shown the President of the United States being tortured by Dr. Madman, who's going to drop them into a pool of radioactive alligators. And as this mad scientist is about to drop him in the pool of radioactive alligators, we get introduced to the heroine, Danger Jane, who basically introduces herself in her skimpy pink outfit and gets ready to go into action. So in less than 2 pages, we get introduced to the main character. We get established as related to who she is and what she wants to do in this final episode of Danger Jane. And as Danger Jane goes into action in her skimpy spy outfit, she saves the president, and after saving the president, she basically takes on the Dr. Madman and his henchmen and winds up taking them out with ease. quick action, quick adventure with a sexy lady. Everything that we used to watch in the 60s, 70s, and 80s and early 90s as related to heroines on shows like Xena Warrior Princess and many other shows like Buffy. That's what we used to get on television, and as related to, again, the character of Danger Jane, which really does a great job of making fun of those type of series. And as we get from this first 5 pages, again, introduced to Jane at the height of her career, and we get to see her going into her classic catchphrase, make it dangerous, as related to dangerous. Eventually, we learn that the series, this was the last episode of the show, and Jane Lawson has now gone from being a star of one of those spy shows of the 60s to basically struggling and as a faded former actress who is now a stunt coordinator for a studio where everything just basically goes wrong as related to her life. Now, there were several spicy scenes that I could not show as related to Jane lamenting her career, because this comic is a little R-rated and reminds me, again, a lot of those 70s movies where we got to see a lot of nudity and a lot of graphic scenes as related to showing character, where we see that Jane basically in those scenes was basically, again, drinking and lamenting her past as we get a look at her curvaceous body, and basically as she's coming to work as the stunt coordinator, she's got a hobby of drinking and lamenting her past and basically dealing with these studios and all the things that go on, like pink pages. Now, pink pages are revisions of a script, and she's dealing with more revisions of the script as related to this movie, where she's doing the stunt coordination. And as she's dealing with this, she then runs into guys who are supposed to be a part of the fight. And this guy who's a part of the fight, he figures later on in the story as related to an encounter he has with Danger Jane, which becomes a bit more dangerous, and again, can't really show that scene of her, again, as related to, again, this guy. Again, she gets with this guy, and then we see the scene of this guy who wants to try to get Jane to do adult entertainment, but she winds up punching him out. And after she punches him out, she then talks to the guy who was a part of the stunt, and they basically have dinner together, and she then lets him see her in the costume of Danger Jane that she still has in her closet. So I can't really I don't want to show too much of this comic because I want you to go pick up your own copy of Danger Jane, but I'll go out to say that, this turns into a very interesting comic about an actress who played a former spy, and now the actress who played a former spy now has to go into action as a real spy as related to a mystery revolving around a movie set and a high-paying job. And as I was reading this comic, and again, in addition to, again, possibly imagining Jane with this British accent, like many characters like Emma Peel and many characters from that spy era of the 60s and 70s, I also was reminded of my own script, All About Marilyn, about that faded former teen sitcom star who was looking to, again, get that big break away from her character. And it looks like the creators of Danger Jane wanted to go in a different direction, where this faded former spy show star, basically, as she's looking to move forward with her career, has to embrace this character for real. And all of this makes for a very interesting and compelling story all around, and makes for some great fun, action, and adventure as related to this comic. Now, yes, there are some racy scenes inside of this Bad Bug Midnight comic, and this one is not for the kiddies, but the story overall is a lot of fun. The action and adventure is well done and well paced, and everything is setting up in this first issue for a very solid series. I mean, everything here basically does a great job of establishing Jane as a character with solid assets and a great look, and also sets it up that yes, this woman is older, but she is finer and she has gotten better with age, and she's still out here capable of handling danger just like she handles in her show. That was one of the other things I liked about this character, that she basically is able to handle things as related to the dangers, as related to her faded career, dealing with a landlord who wants to get his rent money, dealing with all sorts of things as related to script revisions. And it's a nice contrast to see Jane's real life contrast her television life. Again, solid writing all around as related to this book, and usually with a comic, what makes it strong is the writing, and the writing on Danger Jane is really solid, and the art just really pops, and the colors just are really strong. This is a solid comic from Bad Bug Midnight, and another big winner from Bad Bug. I mean, Bad Bug basically has been on a roll as related to its comics, whether it be Murder Mary or whether it be Roseblood Manor or Danger Jane. They really know how to make bad girl comics really good, and they know how to make bad girl comics that feature rich multidimensional characters in compelling stories. I mean, I wish Marvel and DC would be able to do this, and I wish that Marvel and DC could do this with their characters like Supergirl or Batgirl or Storm. I mean, be able to make a compelling story that features a heroine, but it seems like they don't know how to do this, and sadly, because they don't know how to do it, this is why we are going to indie creators, and this is why I'm happy to shine a spotlight on Danger Jane, and shine a spotlight on a great new character who I believe will be getting a strong following based on this absolutely solid first issue. Now, if you want to check out the first full comic that I made, John Haynes at Death's Door, you can get that comic on Lulu.com right now in paperback, and you can also get a copy right now on Kindle, and you can also get a digital copy on Google Play as well. And if you want to check out my first full comic featuring my heroine, esteemed No Good Deed, you can get that comic on Kindle for just 99 cents. And you can also get that comic in paper version on Esteemed Blast from the Past in the Esteemed series book in the back, or you can head over to Patreon and drop $5 and get to read that story and help me support this channel. And you can also help support this channel and help me to be able to continue supporting great publishers like Bad Bug Midnight by dropping a donation to the Patreon, the PayPal, or the Cash App, so I can continue putting in pledges for great comics like Danger Jane and continuing to be able to share these great comics with you viewers out here and continue to help get the word about these comics so that they can get a larger audience. That's all, and that's all I have to say for this comic review video. You can comment, rate, and subscribe.
Now available in paperback and e-readers, Isis, Revenge of the Cyber Goddess. The goddess next door takes on the threat of a deadly digital diva driven to destroy the world in this action-packed, all-new Isis series adventure. Get Isis, Revenge of the Cyber Goddess featuring a bonus pin-up and the other 2 books in the Cyber Goddess saga at online booksellers everywhere today. Now available in paperback and e-readers, Esteemed Season of the Witch Girl. The aspiring angel takes on a wicked teenage witch in this action-packed, all-new Esteemed series adventure. Pick up your copy of Esteemed Season of the Witch Girl in paperback and e-readers at online booksellers today. Support Black-owned and Black-operated digital broadcast media. www.niceradionetwork.com. Nice Radio Network, broadcasting 24 hours a day, 7 days a week.